Wow, let's get ready. You know what time it is, folks. That's right. We're here to talk more about. I just had some setup problems, and that's why I'm a little late here. But we're here to talk more about uh 12 steps to multimedia success, or just getting back to the basics. And some of the basics have to do with us as individuals. And when we talk about things that have to do with us as individuals, it's probably best that we take a look at how we enlighten and engage so that we can elevate ourselves. This lesson it has to do with not necessarily just engagement in that sense. Yes, I want to talk about that in a little bit, but it more has to do with us enlightening our minds. Actually, let's focus on that. It has to do with us enlightening our minds so that we elevate through engagement. We elevate through not just online engagement, we're talking about peer to peer engagement and what we learn from people face to face, one on one, what we can learn through interaction. So, as we get ready to get in this, stand by as we get ready for In the Hot Box with Doc Rio. This one is called Enlighten and Elevate. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Oh, oh. Look at us up on Doc Rio TV. You know what time it is, right, folks? You know what time it is, folks. Listening on in. It's time for more In the Hot Box with Doc Rio. Forget the explanation on why I'm a little late, but we're here to talk about enlighten and elevate. Enlighten and elevate has to do with ourselves, our focus, our mind, our steps forward. Why? Because I think sometimes we forget that we need to enlighten our minds, enlighten our bodies, enlighten our souls in order for us to get to the next voyage. Now, what do I mean by enlighten and elevate? Now, for me, I know that I run into several obstacles and roadblocks along my path. And some of those obstacles and roadblocks, they're not only just in the way, but they are deterring. They can make me, they tend to make me want to travel a different road or a different passage. And they often say that the road less traveled is the one that we must take. And sometimes we see many roads that are less traveled. It's not that black and white when it comes down to the message or the path that we should take sometimes in our lives. So when we're doing that, as I was talking about in the last lesson, as I was talking about in that lesson, when we're trying to no, actually it'd be the lesson before that. But as I was talking about in that lesson, we want to review and then take a look at where we're going. We might have to remap our direction. And so if we're remapping our direction around an obstacle, you know what I mean? Like in the last lesson, I was talking about how I want to say that Olympians or track and field, those who run hurdles or run that race. I was trying to remember what their actual title is, and I'm not coming to it in my head right now. But as I was talking about in the last one, hurdleists are people who, run the event in track and field that go over hurdles. They glide over hurdles. You know what I mean? They take a path less traveled, but yet and still they do it with grace. And so when we talk about obstacles and roadblocks in our path, it's likely to say that sometimes we take the harder road around them instead of taking the way through them or over them. Like Michael Jackson said in his song, it's too high to get over, it's too low to get under, just stuck in the middle and the pain is thunder. And a lot of us are in that pain. I mean, I know I've been in that pain. Matter of fact, I might still be in that pain and not know it because, have I enlightened myself enough to see that there is a way over? Have I enlightened myself to see that there's a way that I can dig myself under? Who knows if I even want to dig myself under? I might want to go over the top because I feel like going over the top may be harder work, but it's well worth it when you get to that top. And it may be a scared way back down, but it's well worth it when you hit that ground again. You see what I'm saying there? So if it's too high to get over, too low to get under, and you're stuck in the middle, It ain't time for you to just stay there in the middle. That's just like hanging there. That's just like the person that tried to climb up the wall and just hung on the wall and said, that's all I got, and didn't give him their all. You see what I'm saying? And that's probably why majority of businesses fail. And I'd have to be a witness to that. I've been a witness to that. My businesses have failed before in the past. Why? Because I saw it was too high to get over, or it was too low to get under, and I was stuck in the middle, and the pain was just thunder. You know what I'm saying? I hope I don't get in trouble for that, because Michael Jackson put it on point when he said that. And I was a kid when I heard that, and I understood exactly what he meant. It's a catch-22. You know how I understood that? All right, I'm gonna tell you a little story about myself. You know, I was a little kid. I was a little kid who was at the Jules Room. Now, if you ever heard of the Jules Room, there's a club in Los Angeles called the Catch-22. All right, it is a LGBTQ club. All right, now in the day it was more of a lesbian club. I'm gonna be honest, because only women were allowed in the club mostly. Even if they let men in, it was like very rare in the Catch-22. And exclusively, you could only be exclusively allowed in the Jules Room if you knew who Jules was. Now, my mother, you know, being in the community, being in the lesbian community, you know, they knew who Jules was. They used to see, whoa, who do we see? Oh man, I can't remember her name right now. I've seen a lot of singers in on that stage on the Catch-22 as a kid. And I didn't even realize they were big names. But during this time, you know, this community of women, you know, had this place. And in the Catch-22, I asked my mom one time, what does Catch-22 mean? And she kind of broke it down for me. She kind of told me, you know, you try to do something and you can't win. You don't do anything and you can't win. And then you fight to do something and you really can't win. I mean, she didn't break it down in those exact words, but that's what I understood from her as a child, right? So it was, this song came playing on the radio, and my cousin Erica, she over there dancing to it because she loved Michael Jackson. Way in love with Michael Jackson. Anyway, she over here dancing to it, singing the song, and I'm like, do you even know what that means? And I was like, I want to know what it means. And, you know, I mean, she didn't say nothing to me. She was too busy dancing. I don't even think she heard what I said. She was in love with her music. But at the same time, my mother turned around and said to me, Catch-22. As soon as she said Catch-22 to me, ding, it rang in my head. So since I was a young kid, I understood what Michael Jackson was saying right there. And I've been in situations already as a child. I had already been in situations where I understood that point and that factor and what it meant for me to be human being. And within the fact of understanding that sometimes we get stuck and we have nothing that we can do. So for me, as a business owner, I've had to look for other ways to supplement my business, because instead of getting stuck, I need to figure out ways that I can continue to make money. Like right now, I got bills due for my business, and I got to figure out ways to pay it. And you know, a lot of people sit back and believe that they don't need to have a job while they run a business, but I believe I need to have a job while I run the business on the side so that I can understand what it is I need to do by supporting my business financially. Even if I get investors or outside, you know, partners or whatever who come on board, there's still a factor of what I need to do specifically for my business. Because even if when I've had partners before and it all boils down, I want to still remain a business owner and not have that business fall apart. I want to continue to strive as a business owner. So, you know, I've had people ask me recently as well, you know, do you want to be a partner? As a matter of fact, I just had somebody ask me on YouTube, and, you know, there are things we need to discuss. Of course, if I'd love to partner up with new people. I'd love to partner up with people and partner as business to business partnership and see what we can do to raise each other's awareness out there. Raise what each other can do, because I want to talk about what the next phases are in gaming. I actually feel the need that I want to join the community even deeper and start to be at conferences and talking to different gamers and starting to interview different gamers. I have this love for the the video game industry, and I've always had it, and I've always been stuck in it. But we can talk about that a little bit more because, I felt like I've reached certain goals, and when I was trying to supplement my business, I needed to reach those goals a little bit more, and I didn't understand how to supplement my business, whether it be in the video game world or as well in the regular business world, because I was doing both of those then at the same time. All right. When I wanted to reach those goals, I didn't understand one thing that Grant Cardone taught me. I mean, he taught me in this book that I carry in my back pocket. I carry it in my back pocket. You can't even see the cover. So I'm gonna have to show you another copy of it just so you understand that I carry this with me at all times. Why? Why do I carry this book with me at all times? Because there's millionaire math in it. And that millionaire math, maybe I don't look at the millionaire math, and sometimes I do and sometimes I don't, because I've made up my own. I made up my own structure of millionaire math, okay? So that I can do what I need to do to climb this financial ladder. As I've looked in the book, like I said in the last episode, as I looked in the book of financial intelligence and try to figure out what it is I need to do to grow my business and grow my industry. So, and in growing in my industry, is this chair locked? Okay, now it's locked. Okay, it won't make that squeaky noise as much. So in growing in my industry, it's been not challenging, but a path of enlightenment more than anything else. Because in reaching my goals and using math in that sense, I had to understand one thing about using math. I'm a mathaphobe. I really am. I feared math to the point that I wouldn't just fear math. I quit things that had to do with math. I'm gonna just put that down. I quit things that had to do with math. That's how much I feared math. I would totally deter myself away. As Olympia LaPointe says here in her book, Mathaphobia, which is interesting enough. I didn't realize this. I must have got this book from her when I did our first interview with her for In the Hot Box. And when I did an interview with her for In the Hot Box, she signed the book and gave me this book, as a thank you. As a thank you for showing her a path. And we actually worked on her new show, Answers Unleashed. And we, as a radio show, and it was a radio show when I was a program director at kpcradio.com for a year. And so, but Olympia LaPointe is an old friend from high school, and for me, Olympia LaPointe, no, let's get to the point. What she says in her book is most important. She talks about a character in her book called Quincy the Quitter. And I so related with him. I so related to him because, as I was saying before in a video, that I had some friends tell me when I was a child that the teachers would abuse me in certain ways, and I didn't understand that. Even though I was in a multicultural school, there were teachers who would abuse me in certain ways because of my heritage and because of my skin tone. Let's just get to the point. And so I didn't recognize it until these social workers, these people who have looked and unpacked studies of how cultures exist amongst each other, have pointed it out to me, because they went to school with me at 32nd Street USC Magnet School, and they saw it. And they saw what I feared the most was the math gauntlet. The math gauntlet was this time when we were kids and our teacher would line us up, and she'd have us go down this gauntlet of giving us multiplication tables. And when we went down the gauntlet of giving us multiplication tables, if you didn't get it right, you got kicked out of the line until the last one wins. So it was a competition all the time. And people would laugh at me a lot. That was the only thing that, people laughed at me when Miss Voyne would pull my ear and drag me across the classroom, but I didn't really mind that as much. The one that really feared me was being laughed away because I didn't understand math, because I couldn't understand how to calculate those symbols that were floating around in my head. You see what I mean? On paper, it was easier for me. It's easier for me to do math. But when it came to my head and dyslexia made numbers jump around. And I didn't understand that as a kid. But it wasn't stopping me with English. It wasn't stopping me with words. I feared it because of how it related to me. It was related to me in a classroom. I feared it because of how it was shown to me, how being wrong at math was so shown to me so wrong that I would never get it. I mean, I was even told by that teacher that I would never understand math in my life. And I took that into my heart and my soul until a fellow student of mine who said she had problems with math because of other reasons explained to me how she got through and became a rocket scientist. Yes, Olympia LaPointe became a rocket scientist, folks. All right. And people that went to Hamilton High School with me know Olympia LaPointe and know her voyage. Know that she's a best-selling author. You know what I mean? She's been on video shows. I mean, I don't know if it's best-selling, but she's an author. I got this book before, but I'm pretty sure Answers Unleashed has traveled around so much now because she's talking about, the neurochemistry behind our mindset and how we see things. She's not just talking about how we do things in life. She's talking about how we see and equate things so that that neurochemistry can change the way we behave. Neurochemistry and behavior are all connected because our mind, body, and soul are part one. And our neurochemistry is our part mind, part soul. You see what I mean? And so she's asking questions like that. And in this book, it asks Quincy these questions. It asks, Quincy is someone who says 2 roads diverged in the woods, and I took one of these less traveled by, and that was made all the difference. All right. An excerpt from a poem, The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. That's how she talks about it, right? And then she says, question, tell me, what do Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Abraham Lincoln, and Mother Teresa have in common? The answer, they chose the path less traveled, although the odds were against their favor. They kept on, they persisted, they kept on going through whatever it took to get there. But basically, she breaks this down into a few sections, and I'm gonna take it to what it meant to me after reading this and how I took things onto my heart and what I did to kind of reshape my path so that I can keep striving. Because yes, I just like those that are the Masked Singer who are excellent talents on stage. These people are excellent talents on stage, and yet still, when they get on stage, you will see some of their insecurities come out because they say that they're worried about their voice. They're worried about how they sound. They don't want people to know that they sound great. They don't think that they sound great. They don't think that they sound great. And they make it on these stages. Some Patti LaBelle, that's a whole nother story. She knows she sounds great. She was just trying to see if she can hide her voice. Everybody had different reasons, but you'll have several artists on there who can really sing and don't believe that they can sing because they have self-doubt. Self-doubt, that thing that I've talked about in other lessons before when I talked about, the gifts of imperfection. Self-doubt and supposed tos. They get in our way and they stop us. I'm a avid believer that they do. And before I go on, I want to go ahead and thank some people who followed me before I came on. Boat the Goat, because he followed me because I was watching Kawais a little bit earlier, talking to an old friend I hadn't seen for a while. I'm glad to see you out there, Kawais. I'm glad to see you doing well. And also, there was another person, Defender Stu 587, Defended Stu 587. And I think you followed me because I was blowing up my boy Jules D for W's channel. And you know what I'm saying? I hope to see him out at an event. I'm sorry that I missed, the event in South. You know what I mean? I had to be here for other reasons because I was actually supplementing my business, making sure I can get a position that would help me supplement my business. That has actually been challenging for me. That has actually put me to the test and brought back things and brought up memories that I forgot, things that I forgot how to do back in the past. And that scared me enough that I wouldn't be able to do that. But you know what? I keep fighting through it because I believe that I can still do it. I believe that I can still accomplish it no matter how much it comes against me, how many obstacles come against me. I believe that there's a way. I just need to figure it out. I need to enlighten myself so that I can elevate myself. You see what I'm saying? In any position, we have fear that overcomes us. But if we let the fear overcome us and take over, then we've lost it. But if the fear overcomes us and allows us to elevate ourselves, pushes us, motivates us, stimulates us, and inspires us to do what we need to do to make that challenge, to make that voyage, then we're doing what we need to do. And that's what stands out to me. And people have asked me, let me stop before I make this transition, one more thing. People ask me about the ascot. I'm a Calf Scout. I love being a Calf Scout. And one thing about it is if I'm wearing black and gold and I got a gold ascot, I might as well wear it. You know, I mean, I got a red one too. I took it off last week just because I didn't want to wear it during this because this one's just more comfortable. Plus, an ascot feels like a scarf to me. And a scarf does one thing for us in this cold weather. And those of us who speak a lot and those of us who spend a lot of time using our voice, it helps protect our voice. It helps us keep our voice longer. You know, my sister, she sings a lot. My sister Jiminelle. And while she sings a lot, I noticed all the years that she always carried around some tea. Mom would always have some tea. Her, my stepmom, her mom would always bring some tea with her all the time. And my thing is water. You know, military got me on this water tip. So every time I use water, you see my voice clears up. My voice becomes whole again. It becomes this strengthening piece. And with this ascot actually helps. It is a real ascot. So, you know, I think I'm going to have to order me some more because they are comfy. They are so comfy. And I miss them so. I miss having them all the time. And I miss having a selection of them. So, but anyway, people ask me why the ascot. And that's the main reasons why the ascot, because I like it. And it feels so good. Anyway, let's continue on. Now, one of the things that she said in Mathaphobia that stood out to me, and this lesson's going to be a little bit long. This lesson might go over an hour, over an hour, just because I need to dig into a few things. I need to really dig in, and I don't think I can speak fast enough to really get it across the screen. I don't think I can really speak fast enough to make sure that people understand what I'm saying on this screen and take in the knowledge that I believe that she's conveyed through me. She's conveying through me. It's like, you know, people say that they read spiritual lessons and they get a message and they want to give it back to the people. That's me, you know, and that's probably why I am a Reverend Doctor, Reverend Mario Amir Lawson, DD, that's what it's called. I'm going for the PhD. So, but, you know, I mean, Dr. Mario Amir Lawson is Doc Rio because a DD is not a real degree. It's an honorary degree. And so, I mean, it is a real degree in that sense. It's honorary, but, you know, I'd rather keep that doctor or Doc Rio. And when I get that PhD, I can really put out there Dr. Mario Amir Lawson. So we'll take that time and we'll make that voyage. And it's something I believe I can do. But I got to continue to supplement my income by paying attention to reaching my goals. And to reach my goals, I got to do the math. I got to do the math. And if I do the math, not just in my goals, got to do the math in everything. Got to do the math in what I want to put out there. Got to do the math in what I want to portray. Got to do the math in how I want to be in life. Got to do the math in situations that come up in my purview or my peripheral, because things come up all the time. And being in the military, I'm a little bit more situational aware than most people. I pick up on things quicker than most people, and sometimes to the detriment of my own self. So sometimes I have to step back and say, look, even though I heard that, saw that, paid attention to that, I'll wait and see what happens with that. I cannot be the clever person who doesn't listen all the time. I say that again. I cannot be the clever person because I pick up on all these things who does not listen all the time. Sometimes you got to sit back and stop and take a breath. And that's been challenging for me. Because I've always been the one that people come to and ask for answers. I've always been that guy. Since I was a little kid, people said I should go into therapy, you know, and that's because I had some keen knowledge and awareness of the people around me. What do I know? And that's what has come down to me for these lessons. I've talked about steps to multimedia success. Steps to multimedia success have to come down to us. This is what I know. And so that's what I want to ask you. That's what she's saying in her book. What do you know? These are the things that you need to stop first before you go off on a tangent and say, I fear this and I cannot do this. Stop for a second and say, what do you know? It just so happens I know a lot of things. I know a lot of things. It's like they say I've been the jack of all trades, the master of maybe one or two. You know, actually, I'm probably none. I've really been high at the area of maybe project management, production, that area, but I don't know if that really is, that's kind of a management role. And management role is really not leadership. In order to be a leader, you kind of got to understand everything, every aspect. And every aspect comes with every aspect of that knowledge. What do you really know that can assist you? What do you really know that can assist you in creating that voyage, that goal? Take that into heart and stop for a second. Let all those nerves fester down, kick back, and think about that for a second. What do you know that you can trade somebody? I mean, we have this ability to barter. There's a barter system out here each and every day, as well as partners. Partners out here, if you want to work with me as a partner, I work on the barter system. What can we trade for, as well as advertising and promotion between each other to help each other get to the next level? You see what I'm saying? I'm not just here to do one thing. I want to sit down and interview some of you all. Not just interview you all face to face, but interview some of you all on camera, because I feel like your story is interesting, and I feel like I do a good thing at helping people tell their stories, helping people share their stories. That's what I do best. That's what I know. That's what I am. I'm a technician. I'm an engineer when it comes to audio, video. I'm a technical guy, but at the same time, I've been a voice. I've been someone who can tap into people's emotions at the same time and connect with them while serving their information upon a platform. And I have a few people I would like to work with already that we're preparing stuff with, and we're beginning to take this voyage with. I'm just a little bit behind as far as preparing a few things for them, but yes, by this summer, it's going to be a bigger voyage. And I'd like to see more people who'd like to come on and interview and talk to me about their opinions, whether it be from gaming, whether it be from music, whether it be from film, whether it be from television, whether it be from dance, singing, acting. I have several different instrumentation, several different aspects to talk about, several different careers and things that I've been involved in, and little things that I know a little bit about and know a lot about. And I'm still learning a lot of things because I got to catch up all the time. Because one thing about this is we have to continue to improve our skills. The next thing she asked is, what are our skills? Olympia says something about, paying attention to our skills. Our skills, what skills do we have to take this next voyage? That's what I got out of her book. What skills do I have? Okay, what do I know first off? Oh, I know I got a lot of stuff under my belt that I can do. And what are the actual skills? What are the actual trainable, attainable skills that are up to date, up to speed, that I can use right now, right this moment? You see, for me, it's had to be knowing how to engineer things. It's had to be knowing how to manage things and teach people a few things, how to understand bits and pieces, and being able to quickly pick up on people's emotions and people's aspects and help them and guide them to an end result. That to me is more leadership than it is management. I don't like the idea of management. I like the idea of people enjoying themselves doing what they do while they get the job done, because if they can enjoy themselves and doing what they do while they get the job done, then they're going to do it better. They're going to do it more efficiently. They're going to feel more secure in what they do. And the more that they do it, the better they get at it. The less they have to ask, the less they have to approach and ask, because they now have an attainable skill, just like I now have attainable skills. I now have certifications upon certifications upon certifications upon, well, I got a degree coming. Yeah. And that's the small part of it. I want more. I want more, because every 5 years we need to attain more skills that take us to the next level. Every 5 years we need to keep going through training. We need to keep pumping our head full of things and growing our skills. And sometimes that involves getting out of the cloud of confusion that the whole world, these supposed tos and these self-doubts bring upon us. And in order to do that, we need somebody to talk to that's been there, done that. We need mentors. She says, what mentors do we have? Do we have any mentors? You know, I feel like there are several ways to get mentors. There are ways to get mentors physically. Like, I've talked to a few mentors that I have physically, and I like them. Some of them are friends more than they are mentors, and that makes it even better because friends tell you like it is. You messing up. You need to sit down and get your act together. Or I like one of my mentors. She really gets me with that's it. I have nothing left to say. That's all I have left to say. And I know what she means. And I feel that. And I'm learning still. So, but she's teaching me what I need to do and how I need to be and putting things in place for me so that I can understand what I need to do to make it to that next level. To take all this energy, this big ball of energy I need to use and put it in the right place. And I have two women mentors who are kind of putting me back in place. And I needed that because some of my men mentors, I love them to death. Some of my men mentors are a little weak when it comes to mentoring. No offense. Yeah, I got a couple of strong ones. Don't get me wrong. I got a couple of close, strong ones, and I talk to them almost every week. You know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? I got some other male mentors that are a little weak at it, you know? So you got to find new mentors. Sometimes, do you have the right mentors is the question. You know, some mentors are good for certain things and some mentors are only good for other things. And so, sometimes you got to update your mentors because they may be on a mission and may not be able to mentor you anymore. They may be on another level. And I don't blame my other mentors for being weak. I just, you know, say these women ones are strong. They whip it in place and they kind of, you know, maybe it's because I was raised by two women. Sometimes I fear women a little bit more and I get a little yes ma'am-y quick. You know what I'm saying? When they put me in place, you'll hear the yes ma'am come out my mouth real quick. You know what I'm saying? And that happens. And when men do the same, you hear the yes sir come out my mouth real quick. You know what I'm saying? That means that I have just registered that I might have seen something the wrong way, done something the wrong way, been too quick to answer, need to stop and listen more. Because I recognize that sometimes I need to do that. And so when you hear me say that, that's me stopping and listening. Please don't take offense, anybody working with me that hear me snap to go, yes, ma'am, and yes, sir. Because that means I need to stop for a second and say, oh, maybe I misread something. My apologies. Because communication is a two-way street. It's a message receiver. It's a transaction. And if the transaction ain't right, if my money ain't right, I'm not getting the product. Let's take it back. If my money ain't right, you ain't gonna sell me the product. So I gotta come with the right communication to get you to produce the product that I need. We're working together in this communication. The necessity is that we need each other. You know, and that's a powerful thing. And so mentors help us to take our communication to the next level, to take our understanding of life to the next level so that we can take action. She asked the next question, how much effort have we asserted? And I asked myself that question, how much effort have I asserted to take upon this action? You know, and that's part of that failure we were talking about before. If you don't assert enough energy, if you don't assert enough in certain things, and you probably see me look down because sometimes I feel like I haven't asserted enough energy in certain aspects that I won't fail. That's serious right there. You got to understand that. We have to understand that in our own insight. Not you. I don't want to say you. I mean we as a whole. You know, because you might be the person watching this and saying, yeah, they have to understand that. That might be your thought process. In my process, I'm thinking, I got to understand that. And if I'm putting it out there, hopefully we can understand that together and we can communicate better. Once again, hopefully we can understand that better, then we can communicate better. Why can I say that? One more time. Hopefully we can understand better and then we can communicate better. That's a messed up soundbite and it'll never work, but it'll be great because it'll be repetitive. You know what I mean? It's just the way things happen. Sometimes we're not going to be perfect. We're human beings. We make mistakes. But it's in making those mistakes and understanding those mistakes and communicating those mistakes that help us grow. And that's the only way we can go. Take that action and go to the next level and elevate You see, all these themes kind of have the same theme in the same sense, but they're different ways of looking at it because the English language is so twisted and turned that we kind of have to look at all detail of this. You know, people talk about The Secret every day. I hear it all the time. People talk about The Secret, but people aren't taking the action to make The Secret happen, because the belief of The Secret is that you can just believe and you will achieve. But part of believing is taking action so that we can achieve. That's the only way we're going to achieve. Anything that you've ever seen in any read, understood in any old passage of anything says that the person had to believe first and then they had to take action to make it happen. Because if you believe and you just sit there, then you're not really believing. Whoo, that hurt. That hurt me. You see what I mean? Sometimes I'm saying stuff that's hitting me. And when every time I point one finger back, it's three fingers back, and that hurt. Ooh, that hurt right there. There's a couple of things I'm believing right now, or not believing in as much as I should believe in to make things happen in my own life. Woo, woo. And that's part of enlightening. You know what I mean? Because in order to enlighten, you kind of have to believe, to understand, to do the research, to take the courage, to build the determination so that you can achieve. I mean, she says this in her book. She says it first takes the action steps that we need to take are to believe in ourselves. We need to have belief. Belief is like an action that I think we take for granted. We take it for granted all the time that, oh yeah, I believe. And then as we go by, things happen, these obstacles coming away and it beat us up. And then we stop believing as much. And then the next thing you know, we forgot. You know what I'm saying? We forgot. But we have to understand that. We have to understand that these obstacles keep coming. People talk about this all the time in several religions, on several pulpits I've heard all over the country. All over the country. If you believe, you're going to have all kind of things coming down upon you. If you believe, people are going to rain upon you, all kind of things. And you just have to keep understanding that. You have to know that. Yeah, I heard all kind of people talk about this over and over and over and over and over again. I'm not going to preach it because I just want you to understand that it's in all ways of life. It's not just in believing in your higher power. It is in everything that we do. It is in everything that we see. It is in everywhere we go. We have to believe in order for us to achieve. All right. As long as we believe, she says also that we got to understand. We have to understand that things are going to keep coming our way. We got to understand that the passage is not going to be easy. We got to understand that we have these skills. We got to understand that we have this knowledge. We have to understand how to reach out and grab mentors. We have to understand what it takes for us to take this voyage. And in order to do that, we might need to take some research time. Yes, that's right, folks. Back to that again. The all inevitable research. Everything we do applies us to obtain more knowledge. We got to keep certifying ourselves. We got to keep growing. We got to keep going. And when we keep going, we start to build this courage in ourselves. We get stronger. I tell you, I'm a witness to it. The more I do, the more I build, the more I know, the more I grow, the more I go. And every time I go, the determination is there. It becomes like, I can do this. The courage is there. The courage is there that says, okay, I can do this. And I start to do it more unconsciously thinking about it. I start thinking about it all the time and start writing it down all the time. And next thing you know, I'm determined. I'm determined to make it happen. And that is where the goal starts to happen. And that's where the goal starts to unfold. And when the goal starts to unfold, it's magical. I mean, I don't even know any other way to put it, but I mean, I do know several ways to put it, but I mean, it's like a miracle, or it's magical, or it's what it's supposed to be. I know several ways I can put it. And many people will say, well, you know, that's a blessing, man. It's a blessing you could do that. Yeah, but luck is a blessing. You know, because you wouldn't have luck. You know, some people say I'm just lucky. You know, you wouldn't have either one without the other. And I mean, because I think all luck comes from the same source that blessings come from. So if you're going to have it, it's going to come from that. We don't just get lucky. It's all part of that already code built into us from birth. there are parts of us that allow us to be that way. And we have to understand that so that we look deeper into it and we have the courage to stay strong and take that belief on and be determined, you know. And I find that these are some of the same answers that I find in other written sources. I mean, it's I mean, I don't even know how to say it. It's just like, okay, yeah. So yeah, right. Yeah. It's in other written sources. Hey, what do you say to that? Is everybody wrong? No, I can't say everybody's wrong. These are people for past years, centuries, millennia, writing the same stuff and telling us the same stuff over and over and over and over again, how they see success. And yet, we still try to reinvent the wheel. Why do we try to reinvent the wheel instead of stepping back and saying, okay, well, we got to follow these basic steps. We got to enlighten our minds. We got to enlighten our hearts. We've got to enlighten our souls so that we can take this voyage and keep going. And in order to enlighten our soul, I think it takes things like, for me, when I had my first business, I think I had this thing about taking action, and I would only take action in certain areas. There were certain areas that I felt like I should, but other areas I was like, oh, no, my partner can do that, or somebody else can do that. And my old partners would tell you, I didn't want to step into the business side. I didn't want to step into the math side. I still feared math. I didn't get Mathaphobia until way after I did become successful in business and did make money, and wasted money afterwards, and that's why I wasted that money. So, but I mean, I didn't gain financial intelligence, if I still have enough yet, but I didn't gain the financial intelligence I have today until I started activating some of these areas in my life. And it was this time that this question I really had to ask myself, was I enlightened? I mean, the real question to me at the time that I quit working with my business partner and gave up and knew that I would have to be 5 years away from the industry, or even if I didn't have to be, felt that I was going to abide by that thought process, that I would not be working in the industry for 5 years to allow my business partner to continue to do what he needs to do. You know what I mean? My former business partner to do what he needs to do. That I wouldn't do it. When I believed that, all right, my question to myself was, did you put in on this, man? I mean, that was the question. Now, y'all might be laughing, y'all might be joking, y'all might be tripping, but I was sitting back watching Friday. I know for a fact I was sitting back watching Friday. And I'm sitting there going, man, I ain't got no job. I ain't got nothing to do. And Smokey said, did you put in on this, man? And it dawned on me. Did I really put in on this? You see, even though I was a business partner, yes, I did get us the gigs, but he spent the money. Be honest with you. He built his business. Whether it failed or not, he built his business and he guided his business. I had a friend of mine, Jimmy Hammond, come tell me, he's still on his business plan. He's still doing what he wants to do business-wise. This is years ago. I don't know if he is now, but he was still on his business plan, whether or not I wanted to be on it or not, which was my choice. Was he still going for his goal? Now, for me, I'm still going for my goal. I never stopped. I never stopped going for my goal, and it's because of people that I saw when I was on the way down. And what I mean by that is, while I was on this decline, I ran into a friend of mine, Drew Lahr. He was building his business, and my business was going down, or I was walking away from my business. Actually, I think I had ended up homeless at this time, and I'd gotten off my feet, and I was still getting stuff together, but I was still on the downcline because mentally I hadn't really felt or understood that I wanted to really be in the business anymore. I hadn't really understood that I wanted to do the things that I was doing. I felt like I was nothing anymore, and that, I could be friends around my friends and I could play video games because Drew was my friend too, so I could chill and talk with him about video games and doing certain things, and Drew, we were grips and electricians together. So we worked in the industry. We did time and we worked hard. you know, and he started his business, what, 2010, 2011, I think it was. And about that time, you know, he's almost in business for 10 years now. That's congratulations, Drew. My other Sagittarian. See that? Got to represent us centaurs. But anyway, you know, he, you know, we passed each other along the way, and I was walking down a decline, and he was kind of humping a ruck up the decline, building his business and trying to get investors. And it was at a time that I couldn't invest. Had I been able to, had it been like a few months before, I could have taken, you know, some money, put it in, invested, and it would have been great. Maybe a year before, because I had a bad year that year. But, you know, I could have put in money and I would have been into a business that is thriving. You know, I don't know if it's exactly thriving right now or what it is, but I still see it around, and I still see them doing some of the same stuff. Slow motion graphics, Hollywood Special Ops.com, HollywoodSpecialOps.com, slow motion graphics, effects, you know, drones. They're doing filming. They're doing productions for people in Hollywood. You know, I mean, when I say slow motion graphics, slow motion video. Let me not say graphics, slow motion actual video, high speed video. You know, a lot of people don't know that Drew and them kind of put high speed video from the ability to only shoot very little shots in a matter of seconds to being able to gather a lot more video. And so they've actually exceeded in the growth of, you know, what they should, because they came out with a technology that only allowed people to get maybe 10 to 15 seconds of video at high speed. And we're talking about on film. People were filming on film, spend a lot of money on film trying to get a high speed shot of maybe some fire blowing out something or a car crash, you know, and they were able to come in, and not just that, there was only a certain amount of distance that a cable could go to a monitor, you know, so that this particular high-speed footage can be viewed. So everything had to be close. Now, with Drew's team, they were able to go out and get a lot more footage, spend a lot more time shooting at high speed, because you're getting a lot more information faster, and at the same time, get a lot more of that information, but also send a signal back long enough so that anybody in Video Village, and if you don't know what Video Village is where the director, the producers, the video monitors, you know, people who would be away from the action, especially if it's a car explosion or anything like that, maybe some actors, whatever, would be sitting in their director's chairs and producers' chairs watching these screens to see the action. All right, that's Video Village. So if what would happen is that people would be in there and they could be away from the action while this is going on, while the cameramen, the stuntmen, and all those people can be close to the action, getting the good shots and actually getting some high-speed footage. And that high-speed footage accounts for 90%. I would say their high-speed footage probably accounted. I know for one point, their high-speed footage accounted for 80% of the productions done in Los Angeles at one point. I was like, wow, look at all these productions that they've been working on. So at that point, you know, that successful business continued to grow. And Drew reminded me that I can't give up completely. He reminded me that, you know, what I thought I was doing, because I was giving up completely. I thought I did, but I didn't really. And it's funny how he reminded me of it, because he reminded me that I had strong will and I had big dreams. And he did this in a weird way. All right. And I think about this because I was thinking about a friend while I was washing some dishes the other day. I was washing some dishes and a voice came into my head while I was washing dishes, because I don't have a dishwasher anymore, and I wash dishes differently when I have a dishwasher than when I don't. So when I do have a dishwasher, I turn on the hot water, which is, I've been lucky to have been at the places with the hottest hot water for the past 10 years. All right. And I turn on the hot water and I run whatever it is under it, you know, with a scrubber or with with some soap and dish. But I wait till the water gets so hot that the plate or the utensil or the item, that's the word I'm looking for, that the item, I can barely hold it. So I know the heat has went through it so much that I can barely hold it on the tips of my fingers, and I got hot hands. I can hold hot stuff because I know if I put my fingers in it, my bones ain't gonna like it up here. You know what I'm saying? But my fingertips, I can hold hot stuff. So I tend to do it that way real fast, and scrub it all down and make sure it's scrubbed all down on both sides, and I put it in the dishwasher. And I let it sit in the dishwasher with the soap on it. I don't even rinse it. I let it sit in the dishwasher with the soap on it because I'm going to turn on the dishwasher and the dishwasher's going to wash it again and wash the soap off and all that. I might rinse it if it's got something stuck to it or something or sliding on it. I make sure everything's off of it, all right? But I leave the soap on it, and I let the dishwasher do the rest of it with its hot water because it's the same hot water, but now it's spraying it down and it's kind of sterilizing it. Like what we do in a restaurant. We take a rinser, the dish machine operator takes a rinser, rinses all that stuff off of it while it's hot. You know what I'm saying? Then he puts it in a dish machine, closes the dish machine, turns the dish machine on, and it sprays hot and cleans it. Then it goes out, then it rinses it. I mean, it does everything, rinses, then it takes it out and puts the rack up. And then somebody takes the food out, takes the plate out. You know what I mean? People are eating on it every day and don't even think about it. But when they get home, they get all a little loopy. And I say a little loopy, but this is my dog, my buddy John, and I apologize, John. I don't want to say your last name because we haven't talked about this in my broadcast yet. But my buddy John, we played World of Warcraft together, right, man? And people wonder why John would come over. John would come over and he would eat burgers with me. It was just his getaway. We'd have hamburgers at my house. We sit in the jacuzzi. You know what I'm saying? We kick back and we talk about the game. And we had this interesting friendship. Well, John used to say, hey, I wash my dishes in a sink of hot water. Hot water that you can't even stick your hand in. Well, I don't have a dishwasher now. And that's the way I've always done it when I don't have a dishwasher, because you kind of need to put your water in there, put hot water in there, soak your dishes for a while. So, but for me, I like to have a clean sink, and I hate having it makes me not want to wash dishes when I have stuff in my sink, and having a sink full of hot water still doesn't make me want to wash stuff. So I'm all about this whole idea that I either got to wash it while I'm doing it, or I pile up and then I do it all at once. And I don't like that either. You know what I mean? So it's like there's no middle ground. I haven't found a middle ground yet unless I have a dishwasher. That's my middle ground. That keeps everything in the cycle. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, especially if I'm just me, because you get 1, 2, 3 dishes now. Okay, and I want to wash 3, 4 dishes. You know what I'm saying? But with me, if I do one dish at a time, every time I go back, it makes it better. So for John was talking about the hot water that you can't put your hand in, and I always wanted to tell him, look, man, you might want to run your hand under this water because you can't put your hand in this, I'm pretty sure, because I can barely put my hand in it. You know what I mean? But I always wanted to tell him that. But John, I give him props because he's still my boy, and I feel bad for saying it, bringing it up, because he's a good guy, and he always come out, and we always go out and eat. We'd always just, talk. He's an older cat, does tours around LA. If you've seen him, he drives a tour bus, but he drives a tour bus, and he knows the real LA. You can't miss him. He knows the real LA, all right? If you talk to John, I don't remember what company he works with, but, I noticed that our relationship was interesting because I got these weird relationships. I want to say weird, but different relationships through playing a video game. And I say it's weird because I think back then people thought people who connected with people during video games was kind of weird. I had lived in Second Life for a long time. I had business in Second Life that paid me $3,000 a month so I could pay rent. All right. So I was making good money in Second Life for a long time. And that to me, to the point where people were like, it's not a game. It's real life. It's Second Life. You know what I mean? And to the point where I was almost saying, Second Life, man, I make money. It's Second Life. You know what I mean? It's another world. It's another lifestyle that brings in income. And it brought in so much income that when I got into video games, still people thought me playing World of Warcraft was weird. But in the same sense, I was playing with people and practicing my ability to communicate with people and didn't know it. I was leading people, mentoring people in our guild. Like I built a guild and it filled up with like 300 people. And my first thing was taking people through dungeons. You know, getting everybody who hadn't been through certain levels, leveling them up, helping them get from point A to point B. And when we helped them get from point A to point B, then we all to get together and we start raiding. And then I built this raiding community of people that I would just always go out and do certain raids with certain groups. And from that point on, I realized that, and mind you, I was leading these raids. Every raid that I took, that was my leader. That I was the raid leader. You know, and even when I didn't want to lead the raid, everybody would ask me, you gonna start a raid? You gonna start a raid? And I was like, dang, halal? Halal. Yeah, I'm the original halal. If anybody wants to know, I started raids back, but I used to start raids on our server. You know what I mean? And so when I look back, being that everything that I went through, everything that I voyaged through, I kept enlightening myself. I kept figuring out what it took for me to keep enlightening myself without even knowing. I didn't give up. That strong will kept driving to make big dreams happen. Even when I didn't know that I was doing big dreams, I was leading people, helping people accomplish their dreams. I was touching more people. You see, when I thought I couldn't touch any more people, I was touching almost 300 people. Maybe less, maybe more like 200 people, because we all had alts. You know what I'm saying? So maybe more like 200 people. But I was touching at least 200 people. And more than that, because when you talk about the servers, I was on 3 different servers. The people who I shared information with, carried with, talked with, joked about in world chat, you know what I'm saying, sold stuff to. I touch people in different ways and continue to touch people whenever I play a video game with them, whenever I'm in Mixer, in people's chat and sharing with them. And I enjoy that. I'm glad that I'm able to take advantage of that, because without that ability, I think I'd be losing some of my soul. Without that ability to connect to people, I wouldn't be able to elevate myself to the next level. I wouldn't be able to guide myself. I mean, you see, when I was going down that incline, when I was losing everything, when I didn't think I had the strong will, and when I didn't know that I could continue to elevate myself to my big dreams, I didn't know that just because I was going backwards doesn't mean I wasn't leading. It took me years later. It took me to actually be honest with you. I didn't recognize that I was leading until I was leading. And then even when I was leading, I didn't recognize I was leading. I was like, man, why is everybody, okay, let's start the raid because I want to do it. I just wanted to do it, you know? But I was leading even though I was playing a video game. I was influencing people. And in that, I found that I was able to find ways to supplement my income. I was able to go back to the drawing board that helped me pay $3,000 worth of $3,000 a month rent in Second Life, took me back to a drawing board to start to look at how I can make money. Look at what I can do to make a change. Oh, the problem is I got stuck in Second Life, and then I got stuck in a long distance relationship that destroyed my whole ego. But it was after that I took that jump and went back to school. It was after that It was after that I took that voyage. It was after that I made myself change my pattern, made myself enlighten myself more, because I realized that education would elevate me to where I needed to be. Education would take me to that level that I needed to see things so that I can run the business the way I wanted to run it, so that I can do the things that I wanted to do, so that I can do the math, reach the goal, and achieve my dreams. And that took the research. That took me finding mentors. That took me, finding writers, finding bloggers, finding teachers, finding speakers, finding people who did all these things and yet and still were able to show me, teach me, guide me, train me. People who had been there in these steps before me that can kick me in my ass and tell me when I need to do the right thing. And I thank them. I thank them all the time. And sometimes they look at me ridiculously when I say, thank you. But I mean that from my heart. Whenever a mentor hits me and tells me something I'm doing wrong and helps me find a new way, I might not like it, but I have to thank them for that. Why? Because they're taking a moment out of their time to try to show me the right way. And if I don't follow it, it may take sometimes a couple of times, and I take a slap in the face and I learn my lesson. And I'm like, oh, shoot, I need to listen. They're telling me something important. They're telling me something that I need to learn from. So there are a lot of ways that you can find ways to supplement your business. I think a lot of people have a hard time looking for ways to supplement their business. They have a hard time looking for ways to build their side business. You know, you might be working for somebody right now and you're like, I need a side business. I need extra money. You know, I think a lot of people have a hard time finding ways to supplement their business. They do. You know, and it's difficult. It's hard. It's not always easy. Not always easy at all. And so I think you might do it by looking for mentors, looking for doing the math, reaching your goal and achieve so that you can achieve those greens, so you can reach those goals and achieve those greens. What I mean by you might do the math and look at and set up goals for yourself. And once you set up goals for yourself by doing the math and saying, okay, let's say you want an extra $2,500 a month. I did that math a couple of times, extra $2,500 a month, right? And break that down by day. What would that take you by day? In 30 days, that $2,500 is something in the realm of what? $83? 83, maybe $83, something like that. All right. And so it takes you $83 a day. So if it's $83 a day, right? How many hours are you working a day to get that goal? That's what you need to look at. You need to divide that up. So if you're working 24 hours a day, well, you can make that goal real easy. What's that, like $3, $4, $5, something like that? I'm just guessing. You know what I mean? I'm not the one who could do math in my head because the numbers twist and turn too much. Let's say, what if that's 12 hours? That's 12 hours and maybe it's $10. $10. 12 hours a day. But what if it's 8 hours? Or maybe it's not $10. Maybe it's like $7 for, maybe it's $7 for, you know, I mean, if I did the math, it's probably like $7, $8 for 12 hours. And it's probably like $10 for 8 hours. $10. How can you make an extra $10 an hour? Can you figure that out? Can you figure out a way to make an extra $10 an hour? Can you figure out a way to make an extra $3, $4 an hour? Can you figure out a way to make an extra $6, $7, or $8 an hour? And if you can figure out a way to do that, this is what Grant talks about. This is that millionaire math. If you can figure out a pattern, multiplying what you can sell, what you can provide for people to make that little bit extra an hour, then what you've done is you've done the math to reach your goal. To make a goal, so you do the math first, you make a goal that you want to reach. You reach that goal by achieving it, by going out and taking action and achieving your dream. You see what I'm saying? And people sound that weird. Your goals and your dreams, I tie them in together. I tie them in is that your ultimate goal. The goals that you're reaching are just to get to that dream. And so I was looking at something. For those people who have a hard time finding what they want to sell, I was looking at something. I was doing my research. I looked at a periodical. The Time says it has the top 10 best-selling products. Now, the top 10 best-selling products. Mind you this, I'm going to tell you this field because this is more important to me. It has to do with the field more than it has to do, or the fields more than it has to do with the actual products. Well, actually, it has to do with it all. What sold the biggest throughout years? All right. The top 10 best-selling products are the PlayStation, a gaming console. That falls in the category of entertainment. Lipitor, cholesterol medication, pharmaceuticals. All right. So we give one for Lipitor, for pharmaceuticals, one for entertainment. Corolla, Toyota Corolla, economy vehicle. Of course, that sold a lot. Transportation, we get one for transportation. All right. Then we get back. We got to rewind a little bit. Star Wars blockbuster film. 2 for entertainment. iPad, computer, tablet, computer, technology. So we're gonna actually give this a dual task. We're gonna give one for technology and one for entertainment because people use it for entertainment a lot more than people have used it for the technological aspect. It's become more entertainment use. Our iPads, especially. We'll get to that later. And then number 6, Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers, a video game franchise. As a matter of fact, they were sold a franchise. All right. The Mario Brothers video game franchise falls under entertainment. So far that's 1, 2, 3, 4 for entertainment. 4 for entertainment. 1 for technology, 1 for transportation, and 1 for pharmaceuticals. All right. Now, Michael Jackson's Thriller. Best selling record of all times. Music album. Entertainment. Entertainment. And give me that 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for entertainment. Then we got the next thing. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. A book. A fictional book. Fictional books are only written for one thing. Entertainment. Entertainment. Slap, slap, slap. Entertainment. Now, iPhone. Told you I'd get back to it. iPhone, the next best thing that we keep on our devices. Smartphone, computer. Technology. 2 for technology. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for entertainment. 7 on that list are for entertainment. Since we use our phones more. Even if we drop the 2 for technology off, it'd be 5 for entertainment still. And then it'd be the last but not least, and I bet many of you might understand this and go, yeah, that's probably true, but you probably won't believe it. I still can't believe it's still on the top 10 list. It is number 10. It is the Rubik's Cube puzzle toy entertainment. Rubik's Cube still hitting the market today. Puzzle toy entertainment. That's entertainment for 8 or entertainment for 6, technology for 2, transportation and pharmaceuticals. So if you want to get into a business that's probably going to sell products no matter what, entertainment's going to sell products no matter what. Every other business, I believe, has to consistently turn around and figure out ways to sell their business. While, unless it's a need like food, transportation is one of those needs. Pharmaceuticals falls in one of those needs. See what I'm saying? You know, these are needs. But in order to get into those are specialized fields. You know, if you are an influencer and you're looking for ways to really come up with, oh, I love these headphones. My head wasn't feeling right. You pull it a certain way and it readjusts to your head. And it's just like, oh, it's right on. Rig, 500 Pro, metal. Woo! Yeah. Anyway, but, you know what I'm saying? Rigs. I can pop them off if I want to. You know what I'm saying? These things are bad. These things are bad. These things are bad. Anyway, enlightenment to help you elevate. These things right here that I'm talking about, the only reason why I'm talking about these things is because this is a little bit looking for things like this, looking for things that sell the best, looking for things that sell the most, looking for things that you can use to elevate yourself, elevate your company, elevate your tool. That's what I've been doing. I've been looking for, what is it? What is it compared to the data that people are telling me that they want, compared to what it is that people want to see? What is it that I need to elevate? So here's some enlightenment to help you elevate. I was talking about putting out the book before. Instead, I'm stopping short for that because there's too many other factors that I got to make sure when I'm clearing the book. And it's going to take some time. I've broken it down to a 10-page report. And I'm going to put out this 10-page report for 99 cents. Throw that on the website. And I still swear, I promise, all those who are first in on this 10-page 99-cent book, who have been in and who have already bought the calendar, the poster, I will make sure you get the first of my free books, the first of my free ebooks. Now, when it comes to the actual other book, y'all gotta pay for the actual paperback book. You know what I mean? Because right now it's only on by order only. But you know, I mean, that's the only way I'm gonna set that up. But when it comes to the ebook, I will put out the ebook, and anybody who buys it, they're on my website, bottom at the webpage says 99 cents. That deal for 99 cents is about to be changed over into the 10-page report. The 10-page report, if you buy that 10-page report, you'll get also that 10 steps to multimedia success banner that I have down there, the poster, which is big enough to make as the size of a wall for a building. And it's huge. All right. That's the size of it. It is a vector-based graphic, so it grows according to the size that you need it for. You can, when you buy this particular report, you get that for free, as well as you'll be the first to receive a copy of the book, which is the 10-step tips to curate content for social media. Right now, we're going to do the report, which is the 10 tips to curate content for social media, which gives you kind of a basis of the meat. But in the book, it's going to have examples, models, breakdowns, questions to ask yourself, things that you're going to want to work with and understand to help you get to that next page. This book is not just about a book. It's kind of a book and a workbook. And that's why I have to clear certain things. And so for that, I decided to go ahead and break out this report so at least you can get the meat, get started, because you're going to have questions. And those questions will be answered more in the actual book workbook down the line and in some of the lessons that I have. So if you have questions, hey, Area 51 is a cover-up. Yeah, of course. Area 51 is a cover-up. The message is from Elite Soldier 201. Okay, so Area 51 is a cover-up. There's a lot of cover-ups in life, in the world. You know what? All we can do, unless we got access to Area 51, we got access to any of these cover-ups, we got access to any of this, a CIA agent or whatever you want to call it, unless you can make change through that, the only thing you can do is figure out how to supplement your income, make your life, and live your life the way you need to live it. And that's what I'm talking about here. Enlightenment to help you elevate. You know, stay away from, I have my own conspiracy theories. People have their own conspiracy theories, but all those conspiracy theories are us doing is sitting around being the devil's playground. You know what I mean? As they say, you know, idle brain is a devil's playground. Well, we sitting around thinking about something that is not making us money. You know what I mean? Area 51 being a cover-up is not going to make you money. But you finding out what you need to do to make it to the next level to make your money is going to make you money. So with that being said, the 10-page report will be out on Friday. I promised a book this month. At least I will have the report out by Friday and in this month so that you can purchase the report. And if you want to purchase a report, you can go to docrio.com. You can go to any of these lessons that are there on docrio.com. And if you like what you heard in this lesson, if you like what you see, you want to follow me, go ahead and click that follow button below so you can find out when I'm on here live, find out when I'm on here talking about this kind of stuff that helps us reshape, re-look at things in our own mind and take our voyages, because every time I point one finger out, it's 3 fingers back at me. So I'm looking at this stuff for myself. So hopefully it helps you too. So with that being said, if you also are watching the replay of this on YouTube and you really like what you see, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And don't forget to click the bell for future notifications so that you can find out when these videos are played back for you. This is Doc Rio. I love it. Anybody watching this on Apple, listening to this on Apple Podcasts, please make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this podcast. You subscribe to this podcast, you'll get the next episode when it comes up, when it's released, same time it's released on YouTube. I'm telling y'all, folks, different episode all the time, every week, coming back with something new. Hopefully something we can talk about, we can look at, we can chat with. And if any of you would like to be on this show, talk to me on this show, come back with some information, not just talk and chat. You can talk and chat anytime we come live, but anybody would like to do a live show with me, we can talk about either what it is you do video gaming all the way to what it is you do as a business. I mean, I'm going to keep it wide open. Anybody out there, you got a business, you got a lifestyle, you got something you want to share with the people out here, and you want to get on In the Hot Box. In the Hot Box has always been open to people who are taking action in their life. So if you got a business, you got something you're starting up, you got something you believe in, you got music, you got artistry, you got something you're putting out there, come on down to In the Hot Box. You don't have to be live. We can do it through Skype. We can do it through Mixer. We can do it through Discord. We can do something live here and put it together and share out there to you and your fans what you have to offer. This is Doc Rio. Stay tuned for more as we get ready for more In the Hot Box with Doc Rio. I'm out of here. Stay tuned for more as we get going. Peace. There it is. If you need to reach us on Facebook, it's at doc.rio, yeah. On Twitter at Doc Rio Rants. On Instagram, the picture way. And every time I come, I'm here to stay. Snapping photos and get it right. It's at Doc Rio tonight. Say, on YouTube, you can't stop. By Doc Rio TV. That's where you see me. That's where you see me. Hit us up on RioBucks.com. Yeah. Back to your regularly scheduled program now. Peace. I'm out. Doc Rio TV.